I have to give feedback to James on his report tomorrow, and I haven't slept properly for 2 days. He's a good guy. He worked hard on it, but it's not good. It's confusing. If I'm honest and direct, he'll feel attacked. He'll get defensive. If I'm kind and gentle, he'll think it's fine. He won't change anything. I feel completely stuck. How do I say what needs to be said without destroying our working relationship?
It feels like a choice, doesn't it, between clarity and kindness?
Exactly. A choice between being effective and being a decent human being. I have to pick one.
That choice is the source of the anxiety. But what if it's a false choice?
What do you mean, false? It feels very real.
Most of us believe that feedback is a tool for correction. We see a problem, and our job is to point it out so the other person can fix it.
Yes, he made mistakes in the report. I need to tell him what they are.
And that starting point, that mindset of correction, is what forces you to choose between being clear and being kind, because correction often feels like criticism.
Okay, so if it's not about correction, what is it?
It's about calibration. Two professionals getting aligned on a shared goal. The problem isn't James. The problem is a gap in understanding between you. The feedback is the bridge across that gap.
A bridge. I like that. But I still have to build that bridge. I still have to start the conversation. What do I actually say first?
Let's think about your current plan. How would you normally start this conversation with James?
I'd probably try to soften it. Start with something positive. The feedback sandwich. Say something nice, then the criticism, then something nice again.
The feedback sandwich. Everyone knows it. It's often taught as good practice.
Right.
And why do we use it? We use it because we're afraid the criticism will hurt, so we wrap it in something soft.
Exactly. To protect the other person's feelings and my own comfort.
But what does the other person actually hear? They hear the positive part, then they brace for the but, and then they barely listen to the final positive part because they're still thinking about the criticism. The message gets lost.
That's true. It can feel a bit manipulative.
It quietly fails because the goal is still correction, just delivered with sugar. The alternative is not to find a softer way to deliver criticism, but to change the goal. We start with simple, shared reality.
What does that look like?
It means you start with a specific, neutral observation. Something you both can agree on as a fact. Something so objective it's almost boring.
Boring? I thought I had to be impactful.
The impact comes later. First, you need a solid foundation. For the report, what is one thing you saw that is completely factual, with no judgment attached?
Well, the executive summary is 800 words long.
Perfect. Is that a fact or an opinion?
A fact? I can count the words.
Exactly. It's tangible. Compare that to saying, the summary was way too long, or you went into too much detail. Those are judgments. They invite argument. The executive summary is 800 words, is just data. It's the starting point for a conversation, not an accusation.
So I just say, James, the executive summary is 800 words. That feels a bit cold and incomplete.
It is incomplete. It's only the first step. You've established a shared reality. Now you connect that fact to an impact. This is the second turning point.
Right. This is where I explain why it's a problem. The executive summary is 800 words, and that's bad because it should be short.
Closer. But again, bad is a judgment. Should is a command. Why do people do this? They do it to be efficient, to get straight to the point.
But it puts the other person on the defensive. I can see that.
It does. It implies they made a mistake or failed. The alternative is to explain the consequence. You describe the gap between what happened and what was needed for the project to succeed. Not what you personally prefer, but what the shared goal requires.
So, what would I say?
You could say, the executive summary is 800 words. The purpose of this document is to give senior leaders a decision-making tool they can read in under 2 minutes. There's a gap there.
Ah, I'm not saying you were wrong. I'm saying here is the observation and here is the shared goal. These two things are not connected right now.
Exactly. You are pointing out a discrepancy. You're not judging his effort or his ability. You're simply highlighting a mismatch between the work and its purpose. It's a technical problem, not a personal one.
And I can do that kindly because it's not about his character. It's just about the function of the report. This also helps separate the action from the person's reason for doing it.
You've just hit on a critical point. We often assume we know why someone did something. We assume negative intent. We think he was lazy, or he doesn't care about the details, but we almost never know the real intent. By focusing on the tangible observation and the discrepancy, you remove that dangerous assumption.
Okay, this makes sense. Step 1, neutral, tangible data. The executive summary is 800 words. Step 2, explain the impact or discrepancy. This is for leaders who need the key points in 2 minutes. So what's next? This is where I tell him to fix it, right?
That's what most of us would do, so you need to cut it down to 200 words.
It's clear, at least.
It is, but why does that often fail? It removes their autonomy. It turns a smart, creative colleague into a junior employee waiting for instructions. It implies you have the only solution.
And people resist being told what to do, even if the idea is good.
Exactly. The final step is to shift from telling to asking. You've built a bridge of shared understanding with the first 2 steps. Now you invite them to walk across it with you. You hand the problem-solving back to them.
How?
With a question. A genuine, curious question. Something like, knowing the goal is a 2-minute read for leaders, what are your thoughts on how we could get this summary closer to that?
Oh, that's very different. It's collaborative. It assumes he is smart and capable of solving the problem.
It empowers him. You're asking him to find a viable path forward. You're not prescribing the answer, you're co-creating it. He might have a better idea than you do. He might say, actually, maybe the summary is fine, but we need a separate 1-paragraph version at the very top.
Right, and that might be a better solution. So the 3 steps are to state the tangible fact, explain the discrepancy, and then ask a question to find a viable solution together.
Precisely. Observation, impact, question.
This all sounds great in theory, Sarah. It feels logical, but James is a senior person on the team. He's very experienced. If this is true, why would a smart person like him write an 800-word summary in the first place? He might just turn around and say, no, you're wrong. The leaders need this level of detail. Then what?
That's a fantastic question, and it's the most common coin of fear. What if they disagree?
Yes, it feels like the whole system falls apart if they don't accept my premise.
The resistance you are sensing isn't a failure of the method. It's actually a sign that it's working. The goal isn't for him to blindly accept your view. The goal is to bring a hidden disagreement to the surface.
A hidden disagreement?
Yes. Right now, you believe a good summary is short. He might believe a good summary is thorough. You are both operating under different rules. He didn't write a bad summary. He wrote a good summary for a different goal. Your feedback isn't correcting a mistake. It's surfacing a misalignment.
I never thought of it that way. I assumed he knew the goal and failed. But maybe he had a different goal all along.
Exactly. So if he says the leaders need this detail, you don't argue. You get curious. You say, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. What have you seen that suggests they prefer a longer format?
So the conversation becomes about the goal itself, not about his writing.
Yes, you zoom out. The discussion isn't about the 800 words anymore. It's about what success looks like for this report. Your 3 steps didn't fail. They successfully revealed a deeper, more important problem to solve together.
Okay, so the whole system, observation, impact, question, it's not a tool to win an argument or to make someone change.
No, it's a system for diagnosis. It's a way to ensure you are both looking at the same map and agree on the destination before you argue about which road to take. The ultimate purpose of all feedback is to become more aligned. When you're aligned, you don't even need that much feedback. You're both just working on the same thing. Exactly. Great teams aren't great because they give amazing feedback. They are great because they are so aligned they need less corrective feedback in the first place. This method is the fastest way to get there. So let me try to put this all together for James. I won't start with, your summary is too long and confusing. What will you do instead? I'll start with the observation. James, I saw the executive summary is around 800 words. It's a tangible fact, no argument there. Good. Then what? Then the impact. I'll explain the discrepancy. My understanding is that the audience for this, the leadership team, needs to get the key takeaways in under 2 minutes. There might be a gap between the current length and that goal. I'm not questioning his intent. I'm just pointing out the gap. Excellent. And how would you finish? I'd ask a question to find a viable way forward together. What are your thoughts on the best way to make sure we're fully aligned with what the leadership team needs from this document? How does saying that feel compared to your original worry? It feels completely different. I'm not nervous. I'm not preparing for a conflict. I'm just preparing for a conversation between 2 professionals trying to solve a problem. And what is the problem you are solving now? It's not how to fix James's report. It's how do we work together to make this report as effective as possible? And who owns that problem? We both do. It's ours now, not just his. That changes everything. The pressure is gone. I'm actually a little curious to hear what he says now.